Hello everyone, this is my part 1 introduction for the multimedia discussion. My name is Inez P. Short, and this is for the MPA 540 Human Resource Management for Public Sectors, taught by Dr. David C. Powell.
A little bit about me. My husband and I have been married for about 9 years, but we've been together for a total of 17 years. We have 2 little mini versions of ourselves that we're crazy about, and we have a furry daughter named Indy, who's our beautiful and loving golden retriever. These are some of the pictures that I have of us. We're here in the Bluey costumes, Bingo and Bluey. There's our golden retriever, and then our 2 kids dressed up for, I think it was like a rock and roll 80s day. We do try not to take life too seriously, and we try to always incorporate humor and fun into our lives. I work for the Department of Children and Family Services as a children's social worker for the County of Los Angeles. Here I am with some of my coworkers. We're actually in a courthouse observing some of the hearings that we will eventually be involved in. And then here I am in my cubicle with one of my coworkers, 2 cubicles behind me. We're just kind of having fun. Some of my favorite hobbies are, I am a plant mom. So I do, I have learned how to have a green thumb, I guess you can say. I'm always watching the newest documentary that's, Netflix has released. We love going to concerts if I can afford it. I also love listening to film score music on a daily basis, and that's just more for self-care purposes. I do love reading, but I haven't been able to read in a very long time. And lastly, I enjoy fundraising or donating to nonprofits when I can.
Now we'll be going into part 2, Tides of Reform, and we'll be talking about scientific management, war on waste, watchful eye, and liberation management. So the first tide of reform is scientific management. This is Frederick Taylor's theory on using science to be able to increase efficiency in the workplace while ensuring that employees are working together towards a common goal. In relation to human resources, an example of the scientific method being used would be in a public works department. Public work departments have a strong focus on how to increase efficiency, and this is due to the procedures that have been put in place that all employees can follow and work together on. Human resources would need to ensure that the policies and procedures are appropriate in accordance to the proposed methods. The second tide of reform is war on waste. This is the theory that government is spending unnecessary taxpayer money on scenarios like city official scandals who are mishandling money for their own personal gain, multiple audits to the same public sectors, as well as investigations into public sectors. For example, when the Deepwater Horizon disaster happened, it was under the Minerals Management Service Public Sector Department. However, in the findings of the investigation, government officials found that there was poor regulatory oversight, cost-cutting decisions that did not align with set policies, and perceived conflict of interest. After the investigation, the Minerals Management Service Department was separated into 3 different federal agencies: the Bureau of Ocean Energy Management, the Bureau of Safety and Environmental Enforcement, and the Office of Natural Resources Revenue. However, the damage had already been done, as this disaster ended up costing $65 billion in cleanup, charges, penalties, and settlements. The third tide of reform is the watchful eye. Under the watchful eye, government is to ensure that there is fairness through openness, which can include situations where employees become whistleblowers. In this example, the National Security Agency had an employee by the name of Edward Snowden who found out that the NSA was collecting private data of users that were using online forums such as Facebook and Apple. Snowden questioned the integrity and ethics of the NSA as they were not being transparent, and he became a whistleblower. This led to an investigation of the NSA, which resulted in a panel agreement that the NSA should not be allowed to collect private data. In human resource management, whistleblowers are a common occurrence, and there needs to be fairness and openness when ethics and integrity are called into question from an employee of the public sector. The last tide of reform is liberation management, in which human resource management uses tools such as surveys and evaluations to ensure that there is a level of high performance within the public sector. An example of this would be the Department of Children Family Services conducting a department-wide survey asking about the efficiency of practices and procedures, how difficult or not it may be to request support from a supervisor, how flexible is their work schedule, and how it can be improved to increase productivity, and what else the department can do to support staff and their long-term goals. Thank you everyone for listening to this presentation, and I hope to get to know you all over the next several weeks.